Hey there, hey, it's Alan K, and I guess now it is my channel because this guitar is gone, so this is my set. Ha ha ha. I am taking over today for Leah Janae, and Pickles is here with me to take over. She's right here in the room. You can probably hear her giggling in the background. But she has to supervise me because apparently I can go rogue sometimes. I don't know what she's talking about, but hey. Today we're talking about, so I got beef, right? So this video she posted before, she was talking about the fact that I ghosted her, which I did say she could talk about, but she was doing a lot of laughing during that video. I don't appreciate it. So it's time for me to speak up. Pickles is speaking up too. Let's get into it. So it's time for me to tell my truth. So, yes, it is correct. Late 2018, I met Leah Janae out on the street taking photos, and I left work, and it was a great evening. I got to hang out. She was a fun model, hang out with a friend. It was a good time. So I immediately followed up with her, edit her pictures really quick, and then just send them to her. And then I said, let's take more photos because you were fun to take photos with. So yeah, we did that. Hung out a couple more times, took some photos. All good. This is like in January of 2019. Then I kind of faded away, because we were just taking photos with each other. Then I reached out to her on her birthday. Yes, this is correct. And then, we hung out some more after that. Late 2019, we were talking a lot more. The conversation was really good and everything. And I felt myself growing closer to her. I did tell her she was cute. And she did ask me, what does that mean? And I had to tell her what it meant. It meant you're cute, like I said. But as an attractive, yes. So yes, I liked her. Then, entering into 2020, we hung out some more. These were dates. But yes, we had no real title. And then I guess I started to feel us growing closer to each other. Rewind a little bit. Aaliyah had expressed to me that she wasn't interested in just hanging out and dating, casually and whatnot. She had goals of getting married. And she was taking relationships very seriously. Now, as a guy, you guys know how we are. It's kind of just, yeah, let's just be casual. Let's hang out, Let's just hang out with everybody. So, I guess at this point I was, 33? 32? 32 maybe. Yeah, so I was starting to become a little bit more serious about things, and one thing being relationships. And so I didn't want to lead her on if I wasn't ready to commit to her, especially since this was something that was very important to her. I started to value people more than I had in the past, I guess is what you could say. So in valuing her and her feelings, I didn't want to lead her on in anything if I didn't know for certain I wanted to move in that direction. So I stepped back. Yes, I disappeared on Valentine's Day. It was also kind of the nature of the conversations leading up to Valentine's Day, though. They were getting to a place where they were kind of semi-intimate, semi-close with, getting very much so on the relationship type of conversation level. And so that also kind of made me want to put a stop to things, because it's like, you have a train that is moving at 100 miles an hour at this point, and it's like it's either gonna keep going or you just put on brakes full halt. So yes, I just put on brakes full halt, stepped away. Was I wrong in ghosting and not explaining? Yes. She's over here shaking her head. Yes, and me too. She's giggling now. She was giggling a lot in that last video. She giggles a lot. She must be a very joyful person. I like that about her. But yeah. Anyways. So yeah. I was wrong for ghosting her. So don't ghost people. That's not good. Funny story. I ran into somebody the other day at the grocery store. I was standing in line. I walked into the line at the grocery store. Grocery store completely away from any situation that I've ever been in the past. But yeah, two people in front of me. A young lady who I had ghosted back in the day. Very awkward. Don't ghost people. Okay. Definitely had to look down at my phone. Nothing on the screen. Just looking at the phone. So, yeah. Anyways. So yeah, during this time, first, I guess in 4 steps you could say. First, you assess what it is that you want. Relationship wise, future wise, where you are, you do some assessment, self-assessment. Step 2, get rid of everything else that's in the way of what it is that you want. So, had to cut off a couple situations. I mean, people who I've talked to in the past or whatnot, and it's like, the door is still kind of open. You have to shut the door and the windows. So, you just to make sure that there's no misunderstandings come down the line. I guess I should have gone back to that ghosted person too. That would have made me more comfortable at the grocery store. Anyways. 3, find Jesus. So, I did a lot of spiritual soul searching too, and worked on, because I had decided that I wanted to be in a relationship, in a committed relationship, and move towards marriage. I had to discover what is marriage, what is entailed in marriage, what is it that God wants for me in marriage, and who I need to be a person ready for marriage. So, a whole lot of book reading, researching. This is the most reading I ever did in my life. And I read things in the Bible too to relate to it. To marriage. So I felt like I had a pretty good understanding of who I needed to be. Did some praying. Definitely have to talk to God too. Can't just read, but you have to actually talk to Him. So, as well as ask Him to work on you, because reading is one thing, gaining information, from a source, but if you don't actually ask God to help you to work on you, help you to actually apply, then reading is useless. So it's kind of like when you're in science class and you read the book, but you don't actually do the experiment, the lab portion, and you really don't know what you read. You just read it, so you got some information, but you don't know how it works. Yeah. So step 4, go after what you want. I reappeared. I resurfaced. I said, I started liking things of hers. I liked some of her videos on her YouTube channel. They were funny. They were interesting. They were clever. I was like, look at you go, girl. Then I liked some photos on her Instagram. I had been liking photos on her Instagram back when she and I were taking photos. So, I had some catching up to do because I hadn't been talking to her. So, I had to like some photos. And, she posted enough at the time. So, it looked like, I was just being excessive or whatnot. But it was just, I had a lot to catch up on. Sorry, maybe I'll stagger them more or something. Like, not do it all in 1 hour. Anyways. So yeah, But the day that I really reached out to her was I went to here in Chicago. It was during the time period where George Floyd had gotten killed, and who's the young lady?
Breonna Taylor.
Breonna Taylor, yes. Those were all around that time, right, with each other, and there was a lot of protests and riots here in Chicago. So I went downtown with my camera to take photos of people out protesting and whatnot, and I posted a couple photos, and she reached out to me and asked, told me to be careful, essentially. And that really resonated with me because I was like, I ghosted you. I was bogus to you. You cared. You reached out. You showed concern. That's nice. It's nice to having a wife. Because if you actually like me, you probably really would care even more about me. So, pick up on little things, fellas. Pay attention. So I responded and I said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm being careful. And then that's when I reached out, like, let's be friends, how you doing and whatnot. And she was like, hey, I'm gonna be a friend. I don't know how she did it on her video. I wanna be a friend. No. Anyways. So I was like, oh, okay, I get your drift. So then I asked to meet up with her. We, talked a little bit, but then I asked to meet up with her so I can explain to her where I have been, what was going on, where I was been, what my thinking and thought process was. And since she didn't want to be friends, I had to lay it down that I ain't trying to be a friend. I'm trying to be a husband. And we just have to work towards that. But I got a plan, and you got to get along with the plan. Get on board. And she was like, I'm on board. I like that plan. And I was like, glad you like that plan. Let's execute it. So, fellas, be a man with a plan.
Yeah.
I think she said that in her video too.
Yeah.
But see, that's how I think we are. And then I guess the rest was history. Then we eventually got engaged, and then we were engaged for a while. Went to premarital counseling. That's a good thing. Do that. Definitely do that. Ask questions. Ask the people to things that you have on your mind. Talk. Express yourself. If you have things that you think they're not covering that need to be covered, tell them to cover it. Bring it up. And then we got married. And here we are today, telling this story from a his and her perspective. Mine is better.
Wow. Wow.
Anyways, well, that's my story for tonight. I love you all. Aaliyah loves you too. And Jesus still loves you so much more. And remember, you can never conquer that.
You will never overcome.
You will never overcome that which you choose to not face.
Okay, wait.
And you will never conquer that which without Jesus.
I'm gonna.
So pray and ask God, because He's the one who provides you strength, not yourself. And then remember to give Him the glory in all that you do.
That's a long outro.
So stay over there. This is Alan K. And this is my new channel. And now I am signing off. And I will see you all next time. Because it's my channel now. It's my channel now. Ding!